Deleted Peppa Pig episode, Preu-13 virus, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. It started with a simple sneeze. Daddy Pig caught a cold after working in the garden and spent 2 days in bed with a fever. "It's just a runny nose," said Mummy Pig. "It will pass." But on the third day, he stopped responding. He just sat at the table, chewing slowly. His eyes turned cloudy, and his skin took on a grayish tint. Then he lunged at the fridge, tearing into bags and food, grunting louder and louder. Mummy Pig locked the door. Panic swept through the town. The news reported on the Preu-13 virus, which was turning pigs into hungry, mindless creatures with only one desire: raw meat. The school was closed. The teacher was seen outside, dragging a bag and mumbling, "Homework, homework." Peppa and George climbed into the attic, shut the hatch, and turned on their walkie-talkies. "George, don't fall asleep," said Peppa. "If I start grunting, don't come near me." That night, they heard a knock. "Peppa, open up." She looked out the window and saw the street was full of zombie pigs. Among them, Miss Rabbit, Danny, even Susie. They were all grunting and repeating, "Peppa, come out and play." Deleted Peppa Pig episode, The Little One Who Came at Night, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. It started on a completely ordinary night. Daddy Pig was dozing off in front of the TV, George was cuddling his dinosaur, and Peppa was drawing in her room. Mummy Pig was holding her belly. The due date was close, and everyone was waiting for the new baby. But the labor began suddenly. At 3 in the morning, the lights in the house flickered, the clocks stopped, and outside the window came a strange scraping sound, as if someone were dragging a hoof across the glass. Daddy took Mummy to the hospital but returned alone, holding a small bundle. "It's a girl," he whispered. "She is special." From that day on, the house no longer felt cozy. The baby never cried. She simply stared at everyone without blinking, her eyes far too dark for a newborn. She was never heard during the day. But at night, one morning, George was found unconscious. On his neck were 2 thin puncture marks, like from sharp needles. Daddy said it was probably a mosquito. Peppa decided to find out. She stayed awake, hiding under the bed, and she saw the baby rise from her crib. She didn't crawl. She walked like a grown-up. She went over to George, leaned in, and the next morning, Peppa told Mummy everything. But Mummy only said, "She's our child, and now she must feed." Every night, Peppa never slept again, because at night the baby whispers to her, "You're sweet. Your turn is soon." Deleted Peppa Pig episode, Now There Are 3 of Us, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. Mummy Pig had been acting strange since early morning. She was silent, gently rubbing her belly, and not answering any questions. "Mummy, are you okay?" Peppa asked. "Yes, it's just that someone new will be joining us soon." Mummy smiled, but the smile looked forced. Daddy Pig said it would be another little brother or sister, but he looked pale and avoided Peppa's eyes. That night, Peppa woke up to a scratching noise inside the wall near her bed. She thought it was George, but he was sound asleep in his own bed. The scratching came again, closer, now from beneath the floor. In the morning, Mummy said, Today we're bringing home a new family member. You must welcome him kindly." That evening, the door opened, but it wasn't a baby on the threshold. It was a piglet, pale, with empty eyes. He didn't oink. He just stared at Peppa. "His name is Lynn," Mummy whispered. "He's been waiting to return for a long time." "Where is he going to sleep?" Peppa asked in a trembling voice. "In your bed, of course. You're the big sister now. You'll let him have it, won't you?" Deleted Peppa Pig episode, The Invisible Friend and the Disappearance of Everyone, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. Peppa started talking to someone while playing alone. "She's my new friend," she said. "No one else can see her. Only me." Mummy and Daddy Pig laughed. "Everyone has imaginary friends," Daddy Pig said. But with each day, Peppa grew quieter. She ate less. She kept staring into the empty corner of the room. "She says you want to take me away," Peppa whispered. One night, her parents heard a voice coming from the children's room. It wasn't Peppa's voice. "She's with us now," said something in a wet, whispering tone. They rushed into the room. The bed was empty. On the floor, a chalk circle, and inside it, "Do not disturb. Playing with Peppa." The pig family called Madame Gazelle for help. She was not only a teacher, but, according to rumors, understood strange things. Madame Gazelle came to the house and immediately noticed the circle on the floor. She turned pale. "That's an ancient mark, a play seal. It must not be erased, or the one inside will be trapped forever." "Where is Peppa?" Mummy Pig cried. "She's there, but not alone," Madame Gazelle said quietly. That night, Madame Gazelle stayed in the house alone. At midnight, the room grew cold. A black shadow drifted out from the corner, with eyes all over its body. "I'm playing," the shadow whispered. "You're playing too. You're all playing." No one knows what happened that night, but the entire pig family vanished, and no one has been able to find them since. Deleted Peppa Pig episode, Peppa's Last Birthday, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. Peppa woke up in a great mood. Today was her birthday. Balloons, cake, presents, everything was ready. Mummy and Daddy Pig had decorated the house, and George drew a birthday card. All her friends were invited: Susie, Rebecca, Pedro, Danny. Even Madame Gazelle had promised to come. But when the party time arrived, no one showed up. "Maybe they're running late," said Mummy Pig, pouring some juice. "Maybe," Peppa replied, but deep inside she felt something strange. She decided to go look for her friends herself. First, she went to Susie's house. The door was open. Inside, silence. On the floor lay a single note written in shaky handwriting. "Don't go where the song begins." Peppa returned home. The house was empty. The lights started flickering, and from deep in the hallway she heard a voice, a child's voice, familiar. It was singing, "Happy birthday, Peppa." She ran upstairs to her room, and there she saw a photo that hadn't been there before. In it, Peppa, George, Mummy, Daddy, and all her friends. They were standing in a circle, but their eyes were closed, and behind them stood a black figure with long arms and a crooked smile. On the back of the photo it read, "This party is forever. Now you're one of us." The next day, the pig family vanished, but the house remained. And inside it, every evening, the same song echoes, "Happy birthday, Peppa." Hello, everyone, our dear and Loyal subscribers. You may have noticed that in every video, the same silhouette appears, the same shadow. Someone is following our beloved piglets. Very strange and scary. We also notice that in the episodes where Peppa receives strange letters, or when texts are scratched onto trees, or written in a fast, messy handwriting, it's always the same handwriting. Let's compare the silhouettes from past videos. For example, the one in the window and the one in the water. They do look similar, right? The silhouette in the hallway and the one in the forest. They're the same. So it seems that Peppa, George, and their family are being followed by some kind of monster. And not just them. In recent videos, we've seen that even Susie Sheep has started noticing strange things happening at her house. It's all so weird and mysterious, isn't it? Let's try to guess. What is this shadow? Why is it following our lovely little friends? Maybe it's someone's prank. Or maybe it's me. The very same shadow. Deleted Peppa Pig episode, The Lake Without Reflections, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. One sunny day, Peppa, George, and Susie went for a walk to the lake. But this wasn't an ordinary lake. It was deep in the forest, and no one they knew ever went there. I heard the water there is magical, said Susie. Or creepy, added George. I heard you can't see your reflection there. Peppa laughed. That's silly. Everyone has a reflection. They reached the water. The lake was still, no ripples, no sound. Peppa leaned forward and saw nothing. No reflection of herself. No Susie. No George. The water was black like glass, but empty. It's just the light, said Peppa, though her voice trembled. Suddenly something appeared on the surface, a shadow, as if someone was standing behind them. They turned around. No one was there. But in the water, the shadow remained, and then it started to move. On its own, it copied them but a few seconds late. Peppa stepped back, but her shadow in the water didn't move. And then it smiled. We're leaving, Susie shouted. As they ran away, a whisper rose from the lake. Now I know what you look like. Deleted Peppa Pig episode, Peppa's Nighttime Adventure, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. One summer, Peppa, George, and Susie went camping with Daddy Pig. They set up tents in the forest, built a campfire, and roasted marshmallows. Tonight we sleep under the stars, Daddy Pig said cheerfully. Can we tell a scary story? Susie suggested. Daddy Pig told them a tale about the forest shadow, a creature that appears in the darkest corners of the woods and mimics those who notice it. Everyone shivered a bit, but then they laughed and went to sleep. Night. The moon hid behind the clouds. It was dark. Peppa woke up to a rustling sound. Who's there? She whispered. Silence. Only the faint rustle of grass. She peeked out of the tent. The fire had burned out and the forest felt different, too quiet. Even the crickets were silent. Then, movement. Between the trees, Peppa saw a silhouette. It was standing exactly like her. Then it lifted its arm. At the same time, Peppa did. Is that my reflection? She thought. But there was no water, no glass, just the forest. And that figure, it looked like a pig. But something was off. Peppa backed into the tent, breathing fast. She shook George awake. Someone's out there. It's copying me. George peeked outside, and the figure was closer now. He screamed. Daddy Pig jumped out of the tent with a flashlight. The beam lit up the trees, and the figure vanished. "There's no one there, kids. Must have been your imagination," Daddy Pig said, though his voice was shaking a little. Morning. The sun was shining, birds were singing. It was as if the night had never happened. But while they packed up, Peppa walked over to a tree and saw a drawing scratched into the bark, a silhouette with her shape, and underneath it, a message. "Let's play again tonight.